Hello and welcome to your gardening week. Well, last week I was saying that spring had arrived. This week summer's arrived and we've had 3 or 4 days of real intense heat that's brought everything forward so much quicker than normal. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that, and actually next week it looks like it's going to get a lot cooler. Temperatures may be well down into single figures, particularly in the north overnight, and that means that that will check growth a lot if it's already started. So beware of putting any of your tender plants out just yet, because if we do get a frost then it will hammer them and you might have to buy some more. So what sort of jobs have I got on the agenda for this week? Well, some of that ground that I covered up a few weeks ago has actually warmed up a lot in this sun over the last few days, and that means that I can sow some early carrots. So I'm removing the black covering that I put over the soil, and it's really beautifully crumbly underneath. Then I'm going to rake it down a bit more. Then I'm going to use a straight edged piece of timber and a trowel just to mark out the rows and take out very shallow drills. Now these only need to be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. Undo the seed packet and then sprinkle a pinch of seed taken from the palm of your hand all the way along the row. Then you can use your 2 forefingers to actually cover the soil back into the row and then water thoroughly to make sure that the seed is wet, and that will start the germination off. Another important job is to pot up the begonia tubers that I put in some compost in trays a few weeks ago to start into growth. I've kept them well watered on a cool windowsill, and they've made some really nice, strong, steady growth that means that they will survive well when they're planted outside. But first they need to be potted up individually into pots of compost. Now I'm using a sheep's wool and bracken compost to pot these into. I've used this over the last few years and I've found it really good. It's called Lakeland Gold, and I find that that works very well for potting and also for seeds and cuttings. Make sure that the pot is big enough to accommodate the tubers, and then about 2/3 fill the bottom of the pot with some compost. Place the tuber on the top of the compost and then fill in with more around the sides and over the top, and just firm it lightly with your fingers around the edges and then tap to consolidate the compost. Give them a thorough soaking and then put them somewhere cool but not too warm, but out of frost, where they'll grow on really steadily, ready for planting out in about mid-May. And another really important job is to prick out some dahlia seedlings, as well as other seedlings that I've sown over the last 6 weeks or so. Now these dahlias germinated like mustard and cress, and they're ready to be transplanted into some fresh compost so that they'll grow away really quickly. I've got enough of these dahlia seedlings for about 1/2 a seed tray, and I'm going to put them into these individual Vacapac units or cellular trays. Use a pencil or a dibber to tease the seedlings out of the original compost in the original seed tray. Hold the seedlings by the seed leaves, which are less easily damaged than the first true leaves. Carefully tease the compost from the roots and then make a hole into the fresh compost, lower the roots into the hole, and then push some of the spare compost back around the roots just to hold it in position. Once you finish the whole half tray, then you can water them thoroughly and pop them back on a well-lit windowsill indoors, where they'll grow away ready to be potted on in about 3 weeks' time. So there we are. It feels like midsummer, but it's still only spring. So make sure that you do jobs that are right for this time of year. Don't plant out that bedding just yet, as I say, because if we do have a frost, then you may well come a cropper. But if you need any more reminders of jobs to do in your garden, then take a look at my website, davidhurrian.com. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my hints and tips. In the meantime, enjoy the sunshine.